go ahead and sit down. And that's coming out of Luke chapter 18. Luke chapter 18, verse 1. Luke 18 and 1. Real quick. And it says, and he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not faint. And y'all may be seated. Okay. When I tell y'all God is amazing, he is amazing with the way that he does things. He is amazing. Okay, in this particular scripture right here, it said that Jesus was doing parables. And in these parables, he made it be known that man ought to always pray and not faint. What do he mean by pray and not faint? Okay. We ought to always pray. Paul said it again in 2 Thessalonians, and he said that we should pray without ceasing. Yes. Okay, pray without ceasing. So Jesus set the precedence, and he said that man ought to always pray and not faint. Yeah. When he said that, he understood that there were going to be times and there were going to be situations in which there were going to be things that you done prayed about and you don't see anything manifesting in the natural. But he said you're supposed to pray always and not faint. Yeah. That's it. Not faint. Not faint. Not faint. That means you cannot get weary. That's it, right? You cannot stutter step. That's it. But two things are lined up together, and that's what we're going to tackle on today. Two things are lined up together, and that is prayer and your faith. Yeah. If you want to know how much faith you got, how often do you pray? That's it. Come on. How often do you pray? That tells you a lot about where your faith is in God, because if your faith was in God, prayer would be something that comes second nature. That's right. It wouldn't have to be something that is so tedious and toiling and all that good stuff. So right now, we have people that don't even want to come to prayer. When they say prayer, I don't think I'm going to skip that. I don't need prayer. I'm just come for the word. I'm going to come for, the praise and worship. What you don't know is all you're doing is putting a Band-Aid on a gushing chest wound. Come on. Prayer is what gets the root of a thing. Y'all understand? Yeah. We want to come to the altar sometimes, and we want to take and we want to bring certain pieces of us. We want to come and we bring certain pieces. Oh God, I got this ailment. I'm going to bring that to the altar. I'm going to bring that ailment to the altar. And I'm going to let them pray over it. And then when they pray and you go back and nothing's happening, and you're like, I ain't going back to that church no more because they don't even know how to pray for nobody. Ain't nothing happening.
That's it. Come on. That's it.
Come on.
That's it.
When a word was spoken over you, okay? A word was spoken over you, but yet you didn't even pray to birth that thing out. Right. If y'all turn back to Luke chapter 11, they asked Jesus how to pray. That's right. And when they asked him how to pray, he said, pray like this. When you pray, say, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done as in heaven, so in earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, for we also forgive everyone that is indebted to us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And he said unto them, which of you have a friend? Okay, so now, when he said that good prayer, and we, as children, we learn that prayer, right? Mm-hmm. What child in here don't know that one right there? And besides, as I lay me down to sleep. Amen. I still do that one every day. I gotta throw that one in there, mix it up. But this is what I'm saying. When he said, this is how you should pray, one of the first things he gives reference to God. But then he says, thy kingdom come, thy will be done as in heaven, so in earth. So when he's saying this, there's certain things that we have to pray and birth out on the earth.
Come on.
There are things that are spoken over us, but we still have to pray and birth it out on earth. Because we want his kingdom here. Right. So we have to pray that his kingdom comes. Amen. Okay, y'all skipped that when y'all was praying. Y'all just memorized it and just kept going. But that's what that means. That's what that means. We have to birth some things into the atmosphere. God gave us dominion over the earth.
Amen. Amen. That's right.
Tony Evans said that prayer is, he said it's when earth gives permission for heaven to intervene. That's right. That's what prayer is. He said prayer is when earth gives heaven permission to intervene. Because God gave us dominion over the earth. We look back in Genesis, all the way in the beginning. He said that he gave us dominion. Okay? He gave us dominion over everything of the earth. So when things are spoken over you, when things are happening in your life, there are just certain things that you are supposed to do. Okay, there's just certain things that you're supposed to do. You got to birth this thing out. So Jesus was telling them, there's some things that are out there, but you got to birth it out. I told you that his kingdom, my kingdom is coming. Amen. I told you that my kingdom is coming. So when you pray, pray like this. Pray that my kingdom come. Even though I already know that your kingdom is coming, why am I praying that your kingdom come onto earth? Because there are things that you have to pray out.
Come on.
So, like I said, let me get back to this altar over here. This altar is full of little scrapes and scratches. When are we going to throw the root of it on there? We got scrapes and scratches that we bring to the altar, but we don't want to get to the root of what caused the scrape and the scratch. So we bring that scrape and the scratch to the altar for the ministers to pray over you and to agree with you in prayer, and then you leave it at the altar. But you never ever brought the root and everything associated with it to the altar. You pick and choose what you want to bring to the altar. And you wonder why you come up here and you say, I've been delivered on this Sunday. They done prayed a prayer deliverance. I've been delivered. And then you go back home and you right back in the bed with that same person all over again. And you wondering, where did I go wrong? They said that I was delivered.
Come on.
There's some things that you got to birth out on this earth. Because you got dominion over this earth. So everything that's in this earth, there are things that will be spoken over your life. Healing has already been spoken over your lives.
Come on.
You're healed by my stripes is what the word says. That's why it pays to know the word. It pays to know the word. Because if you don't understand or know the word, there's nothing that you can birth out on earth.
That's right.
Because you don't know what you're entitled to.
That's right.
And the enemy would love to keep you ignorant of his devices.
That's right.
We have used prayer like J.G. Wentworth. It's my blessing and I need it now. Y'all remember the commercial? It's my money and I need it now. They yelling all out the window down the street, getting upset about it. And that's how we use prayer. It's my blessing and I need it now. I'm tired of getting bits and pieces of it. Because you only give them bits and pieces of you.
Come on.
We got to look at ourselves with some of this stuff. Okay, there's different things that we should do, but we are to always pray and not faint.
Amen.
So that's the basis. We are to always pray and not faint. So, takes me back, when we're talking about we got dominion, let's bring it back. We got dominion over this earth. So there's some things that we have to pray and that heaven intervene to birth out, right?
Amen.
So let me give y'all some scripture, some backing to that, okay? That says that you have to birth some things out because God knows everything. I know some of y'all sitting here, God know everything. He know everything. She don't even know what she's talking about because God know everything. He knows my cry. He does. He knows everything.
Come on.
He's omnipotent God.
Right.
That's right. Come on.
Thing is, let me take y'all back to the disciples when they was in the ship. There was a storm brewing. That storm was getting it, wasn't it? That storm was getting it. And where was Jesus? Sleep. And while he was sleeping, they running amok. They running out. Oh, look, we finna die. We are surely finna die.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? None of them thought, pray. We are surely finna die. That's all they could see was what was going on. We are surely finna die. You think Jesus didn't know that there was a storm?
Right.
You think that he did not know that the storm was brewing and the waves were crashing up against the boat and the boat was about to flip over? You think he didn't know that?
Right.
Come on.
But he laid there. I'm sure he was laying there like, whenever y'all get ready. Whenever y'all ready.
Right.
Okay? Because this is how it is. We got to birth some things out.
Yes.
So it wasn't until they said, Lord, do you not care that we finna perish?
Come on.
He like, about time. About time. I was wondering when y'all was going to come my way. What manner of man is this that can come? All he said was peace, peace. I said that 50 times, ain't nothing happened. Y'all understand what I'm saying?
Amen.
Y'all understand when I say we have dominion? We have dominion over this earth and everything in it. That means we have dominion over this body.
Come on.
This body has to be subject to us.
Amen.
We have dominion over everything.
Thank you, Jesus.
Y'all know, some of y'all have children. Some of y'all have children. Some of y'all have nieces, nephews, whatever the case may be, but y'all been around kids. And y'all see kids and they running around, and one of them times they running as fast as they can go, and they don't bump their head, bump their head on something, and you don't move. You got shh.
That's right.
And you see what they're gonna do first.
That's right.
If they don't do nothing, you go about your business. But it's when they make that ugly face, you still don't move, because you want to see if that ugly face gonna go away. Like, oh, that hurt. And they start to cry out. That's when a parent moves.
That's it.
Okay, that's when a parent moves. When there's a cry that's let out in the atmosphere, that's when a parent moves. And God is no different. We have dominion. So when we cry out, he moves.
That's right. That's right.
So when there's been things that have been prayed and prophesied over you, there's some things that you got to go home and do. When there has been deliverance that has been spoken into your life and things that you know you're supposed to do better, and you're not doing them better, that's because your prayer life sucks. I'm sorry.
Come on.
But that's because your prayer life, you got to birth that thing out. You don't get deliverance because I only brought you one little piece of my thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got an issue with fornication. So I'm going to bring you, I just want to be delivered from fornication.
Right.
But I ain't tell you, or the root wasn't even discovered that I was molested and I had daddy issues and I got this issue and I got that issue because it was never revealed.
That's it.
For the deliverance to truly take place because the root was never attacked.
Amen. Make it plain.
Through prayer, God gives us the root to pray about. So when we go up for deliverance, there's some things I got on me. Y'all gonna have to pray real long and hard. I got some things. They run deep in me. And I want to give everything out.
Right.
I don't want nothing to remain.
Right.
And we say that in our head. Right. And it sounds so good. Oh, Lord, I'm letting it all go this Sunday. I'm going to get on the altar. I'm letting it all go.
Right.
By Sunday night, you back on social media, snapping sexy pics, butt shot in the mirror, you know, high shot.
Yep.
I'm just saying. There's a song talking about hit me in the DM. Y'all don't, look, let me tell y'all something. Y'all, if y'all see that y'all might not know. I didn't know. I had to ask, what is he talking about? Hit me in the, what?
Yep.
DM, direct message, whatever. It's a direct message that you can send to somebody that's hidden from everybody else. You can say whatever you want to say. You can send whatever you want to send. Because this is between me and you.
Right.
All right? That's a DM. He said, hit me in my DM. Okay. Well, I'm leave your DM alone. Because if I can't put it out in public, anything that's a secret, you know Satan is attached to it.
Right.
That's right.
Secrets are not of God.
Amen.
If it's a secret, Satan is in it.
That's it.
Y'all got about young folks, watch that DM. Watch that DM. They come in your DM, disregard. You can't say it out in public. I don't even want to hear it.
That's it. Amen.
So, this is what I'm saying. Back to this dominion and understanding and knowing it. We got the biblical stance of why it is that we have to say some things and get God involved. Not because he doesn't know, but because he gave us dominion over this earth. So he gave us dominion over this earth. There's some things that we have to pray about and we have to birth it out. And there are things that are going to be spoken over us. I have an acronym. For those of y'all that are taking notes, y'all know I love notes.
Oh, no.
So I keep a pad and a pen. That's why I got like markings all over the place. But I have an acronym for pray. Okay? Acronym for pray. So you write your P-R-A-Y and we're going to go from there. So first and foremost, we have the P, and that is position. We're not talking about the position in which you pray, get on your knees, fold your hands, real pretty and cute, you know, and what you have on. We're talking about the position of your heart. Okay? Where's your heart at when you get ready to pray to God? He don't care about the fancy words and all that kind of stuff. I need your heart to be set and in position to receive from me. I need your heart in a place and in a position that you can hear me.
Amen.
So, position. When I got position, I was thinking, and what came to me was Elijah. Y'all remember when Elijah had came, as soon as he came on the scene, the first thing you read about Elijah when he comes on the scene in 2 Kings, I believe it's 2 Kings, like the 18th chapter. But as soon as he comes on the scene, the first thing it says is that he's the son of so-and-so, and he this, that, and the third. And the first words out of his mouth, there will not be rain until I say so. Period. Point blank. And the sky shut up, and it did not rain. How much power and boldness do you have to just come on the scene and to declare a thing and it just happened like that? Right? So then he goes through 3 years of doing a little something because he got to go and hide, because you know when there's a famine in the land, whoever brought the famine going to be sought out. So Ahab, y'all remember Ahab and Jezebel? Well, anyway, so Ahab wanted him, dead or alive. I want him. And so then 3 years later, God released him and said, hey, go and tell Ahab that I'm going to release rain. Okay, it's all right. So he goes and he tells them that he's going to release rain. And at that same time, he challenges the 450 prophets of Baal to a challenge, you know. And so he does the challenge and all that good stuff happens. And then after that, because he had already spoke out of his mouth, there will be an abundance of rain, is what he said. Then we skip on down, and you go on down to, I think it's like 18, verse 41. And it starts to talk about the fact that he decided he was going to go up to Mount Carmel. When he goes up to Mount Carmel, he sits. And it says he falls to his face. He puts his head between his knees, and he begins to pray. He prays, and he prays, and he prays. He looks up at his servant. He said, now go look and see if you see rain. He goes. I don't see anything. I don't see anything, Elijah. So then Elijah said, okay, let me shift. Maybe I should lay prostrate. And he said, now go look. Go look. I don't see anything, Elijah. This happened 7 times. On the 7th time, I can just imagine he's sitting here and he's like, man, I done did it in the way that I did it before. I've done it in a new way. I've got different positions, trying to pray this thing out. The 7th time, he goes and he's in position. He's praying, but by this time, he's like, God, I know what you told me. Y'all understand? Your prayer changes. Your prayer changes. When you didn't hit a brick wall so many times, your prayer begins to shift. Now it's no more formalities. It ain't no more, oh, thou Father, thou art great. There's no more formalities now. You snotting and crying and you tired.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You tired because I know what God told me. So now it's this prayer that's kind of like, God, now you told me to tell these people that there's going to be rain and an abundant amount of rain. And I did that. I did that. Show them that you are God right now. And he told his servant, he said, hey, go look now. He goes, he looks, he comes running back. He says, Elijah, there's a cloud the size of a man's fist. That's all he needed. Elijah jump up. He praises God. He's so excited that God is yet working over a cloud the size of a man's fist.
Right.
That's it. Right. The size of a man's fist. He didn't wait for the rain to come before he jumped up and praised God, but it was a cloud the size of a man's fist.
Come on.
And he jumps up and he runs. It said he runs. Now, at this time, he was 80 years old, but it said he ran. He girded up his stuff and ran in front of the chariots.
Right.
He beat them to the next city.
Come on.
He told the king, go on and eat and drink. So there's position. doesn't matter your position. It's the position of your heart. When you going to get to the realness of what it is that you want from me. Because all this playing patty cake you doing with me, I hear you. But I'm ready for you to have that heart in a position to where I can actually come in and do what it is that I want to do with you.
Yeah.
Amen.
The next one, the R, is release. Release any preconceived notions that you might have is supposed to happen when I pray this thing this way. Okay? Anything that you think is supposed to happen, let it go.
No.
Let it go. That the way God works is completely and utterly different from what it is that you want to have happen.
Correct.
I'm praying, Lord, help me to get closer to you, Lord. Give me a closer walk to you, God. And what happens? Y'all already know the story. My body get afflicted. Oh, no. But it causes me to pray more.
Right.
You understand? It doesn't have to be that he has you to give you the unction to study more.
Right.
It's not that he has to give you the unction to do things or give you the strength or take out that procrastinating spirit from you studying the way that you're supposed to or praying the way that you're supposed to, but it is whatever it takes in your situation for you to get there. So that same thing that Minister Carla may have went through to get closer to God, and maybe all it took for her was just to read the word more, and I'm closer to God. But for me, he know I'm hard-headed. Angela hard-headed. I don't know if y'all realize that about me, but I'm hard-headed. You got to tell me more than one time. And so he knew what it was going to take to get Angela in a submissive position to where I will be able to get closer to him.
Amen.
So in that particular situation, it makes me think of the parable that we had just finished reading in Luke 11. Go back to Luke 11. And it says in verse 5, and he said unto them, which of you shall have a friend, and shall go unto him at midnight, and say unto him, friend, lend me 3 loaves. For a friend of mine in his journey is come to me, and I have nothing to set before him. And he from within shall answer and say, trouble me not. The door is now shut, and my children are with me in bed. I cannot rise and give thee. Now, the friend wasn't expecting it to go like that. He's like, oh, you know what? Y'all stay right here. I'm going to run over here to Tony's house because Tony got plenty of bread. I'm going to run over there. And he goes over there and Tony shuts him down. Shuts him down.
Right.
So, what happened? Tony done shut me down. But read on. Read on, and he says, I say to you, though he will not rise and give him, because he is his friend. Okay, so when he says, though he won't rise to give him because he's his friend, okay, that means just because he won't get up to give it to him because I'm your friend, just because we're friends, I'm going to get up and I'm going to give it to you. That ain't why. That is not why. That is not why. But it goes on and he says, yet because of his importunity, he will rise and give him as many as he needed. His importunity. Somebody Google that. Okay, now look. Importunity. That means your persistence in solicitation. Your persistence in solicitation. So if I continually ask and I am seeking and I am yet trying to get God the best way that I possibly can and I need this thing, I'm not going to pray one time and let it go. Because some people will tell you, pray, let it go. Pray, let it go. Now I do remember where the scripture says, I heard you the first time and I sent an angel.
Come on.
But because you continue to pray those 21 days, the angel had the strength to battle to bring the answer to you.
Come on.
So this is what I'm saying. Release how you think is going to happen or how you think it's supposed to come or how fast you think it's supposed to come. Release all those inhibitions. Release it. Okay? Because when it comes to prayer, we cannot play with what it is that God wants to do and when he wants to do it because his timing is perfect. So release those things. And then it goes on and it says, it says, and I say unto you, ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that seeketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be open. And y'all can go ahead and read the rest of it, but basically he's saying, you know, why wouldn't I give? If you ask me for it, I'm going to give it to you. You come knocking, I'm going to open the door. What? He's saying, this is what he's saying about prayer. Because Jesus is teaching them to pray, and this is what he says about prayer. And then let us go over and we look at the A. Allow God to speak. Allow God to speak. So here it is. We say, Lord, I need you to do this. Amen. Good night. Amen. Good night. Okay. That's a one-sided conversation, is it not? One-sided conversation, and we're not even going to touch on that because y'all know we all guilty of it. God, thank you very much. Good night. Y'all know this is what we do. We're human. This is what we do. We have needs, and we want the needs. J.G. Wentworth, 1877, cash now. We want it now. So this is what happened. So then that takes me to Nehemiah. When y'all go to Nehemiah, and in Nehemiah 2, he is serving the king. Nehemiah is serving the king, and while he's serving the king, he has a disposition that's not like him. And the king recognizes it and notices that he's not the same. It's like, what's wrong with you? And basically, he's saying, my countenance is low, blah, 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 blah. And then he says, well, what is it that I can do for you? And then it says that Nehemiah prayed. He said, then I prayed to God. Now, because of the importance of this conversation, I'm sure he didn't break out and drop to his knees. Oh, dear Jesus, Lord. Sometimes we need to allow God to speak in our inner mind, in our inner spirit, and let him speak in. So when we say, we're standing here, I can be sitting here and I'm talking to y'all, but I'm praying in my spirit. Amen. Y'all understand? It doesn't have to look a certain way, but in order for God to speak, we have to always be praying. Okay, so if we're always praying, God is yet always downloading into us. So when we get ready to open our mouths, and Nehemiah didn't want to speak the wrong thing because he didn't want to speak, like Sis was saying this morning in Sunday school, he didn't want to speak the good thing, but he wanted to speak the God thing. Amen. Okay, so when I speak the God thing, that means God is going to speak and give exactly what is needed. Okay, exactly what's needed. So as God continues to give exactly what's needed, when he opened his mouth, he said, how can I be happy when my kingdom is destroyed, the walls are down? And this is what he would want to do, go back and rebuild the wall. And he allowed him to do it. But he has to understand that I can't speak out of my own accord. I have to allow God to speak. I had to allow God to speak, and I can't do that unless I am constantly praying. Amen. And it doesn't have to be that outward thing that we know, to get on your knees and do all that good stuff. It doesn't have to be that. Your position, we already talked about, does not matter. Your physical position does not matter. It's the position of your heart. And because Nehemiah did not want to do anything to go against God, let me pray within myself to be able to answer this man in the natural. And so that's what he did. So that's my example. Now, the last one, the why. The why is yield to what he says or does. Let me tell you, okay. This one is going to come out of 2 Kings, because we're going to talk about Hezekiah. Y'all know Hezekiah, he had it on all sides, man. They had 3 years into Hezekiah's reign. The northern kingdom had been taken by Assyria within 3 years of his reign. So in the 3rd year of his reign, they had taken Samaria. Samaria was the last place to be taken. And so in 2 Kings chapter 18, that's what y'all will be reading. It was the last place to be taken in the northern kingdom of Israel. So he was still doing well, because when he came into power, he was doing everything that he knew to do for God. He tore down the high places. He tore down everything. He got rid of the altars. He went out to the groves and he tore those down. He did everything that he knew to do in the natural and both in the spirit, because he went into the temple and did incense and sacrifices. Well, he didn't do it himself, but you know what I'm saying. So, because he did everything he knew to do, God blessed him. It says he blessed him in everything that he did.
Amen.
So here it is. The king of Assyria sets his sights now on the lower portion of Israel. And so he sends out messengers, and the messengers tell them all kinds of bad stuff. Y'all really think y'all can escape us? Oh, they start talking cash, money, yin-yang. You know, y'all think y'all can really escape us? You better ask the gods of Sepharvaim and all those other places what happened to their gods when their gods tried to stop us. And then they even throw in there, your God told me to come and take your land. You know, your God told me to come and do it. And so then they're talking and talking and talking. And so then he says, now they start to come down some more and they conquer Judah. Okay, they conquer Judah. The only place that's left is Jerusalem. Because when he sends his messengers the second time, he's in Lachish. Lachish is on the backside of Jerusalem. So they've gotten the front, they've gotten the sides, and now they're in the back of you, defeating your other portion of your kingdom. And all that's left is where you are. Can y'all imagine being in that position? You got fire in the front, on both sides, and in the back. And you're just like, now, God, I know what you told me. You told me you'd bless my hands. Whatever I go to do, you're going to bless it. And you're going to do just what, you know what I'm saying? You start to pray that word. And so then, when he gets that close, Hezekiah has a faltering moment. Because he goes and he says, well, you know what? I'm sorry. I must have sinned against you. I apologize. Whatever you want, I'll give it to you. And so he asked him for a ridiculous sum. And so Hezekiah has to go and he takes the gold off the doorpost. He takes the gold out of the temple. He takes the gold out of everywhere that he can possibly find to give it to the king of Assyria so that they can leave him alone. So he pays tribute to the king of Assyria. Ain't prayed, ain't did nothing. Now this is somebody who, I'm walking for God. I'm doing everything that God told me to do. They said there was no one like Hezekiah before or after.
Amen.
So he's doing everything that he knows to do for God, and then his kingdom is being closed in on. So he has to be in his mind when all this stuff is breaking loose. It's like, I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. God, I know this is what you said. And then everything is getting destroyed and turned over. And you're just like people, you hear people screaming in the distance. And it's just like, I don't get it. You know, I don't get it. So he falters a little bit because in his mind he's thinking, well, maybe I'm being punished for what the forefathers did. So I guess I could accept that. Let me go on and pay. And let me go on and get this off of me. Get this off of the people. And so he pays. And once he pays, guess what happens? They conquer another portion, and then they come back, and they send messengers. And in these messengers, after he had just told them, he says, this is what Hezekiah does. After he sees that they have come again, and they're standing at their water supply, okay? They're standing at their water supply. That's their livelihood. Without the water supply, they have nothing. So they're standing there at their water supply. So he comes and he sees this, right? So he tells the people, and this is in 2 Chronicles, I believe it's chapter 32. But he tells them, 32, 7 and 8. And he says, be strong and courageous. Be not afraid nor dismayed for the king of Assyria, nor for all multitude that is with him. For there be more with us than with him. With him is an arm of flesh. But with us is the Lord our God to help us and to fight our battles. And the people rested themselves upon the word of Hezekiah, king of Judah. They rested themselves in it. This is a man who believes and is training us to do what it is that God said do. So if he said it, that's Bible.
Amen.
So we got the Bible speaking to us. You know, we have the Bible speaking to us. So we have the Bible telling us what's what and to encourage us just the way that Hezekiah just encouraged his people. So what happens? He sends his servants, and Radcliff says, don't you dare believe Hezekiah, because I know he done told you your God is going to rescue you. He done hit the nail on the head. I just finished telling them that. And then he says, I know he done told y'all that your God can do this, but where was your God, or where was the other people's gods when we were tearing up everything and taking them from country to country? Where were their gods? Why weren't their gods able to stop us and take us down? So don't believe Hezekiah. Just come on out with your hands up. It's going to be all right. We're going to take you to another land. It's going to be great. Take you to another land. You'll be all right. And so as he's speaking, his servants, Hezekiah's people, came and gave him the notes that they sent. And so Hezekiah takes the notes and he spreads them out. And right before that, though, he seeks out Isaiah, the prophet. And Isaiah tells him what God says. And God says, look, I'm going to get rid of them. I'm going to blow them off the face of the earth. You don't have to worry about that. I'm going to get rid of them. And so then he gets the word, but he gets the paperwork from them that the enemy had sent, declaring all these things. And what does he do? He takes the paperwork and he goes into the sanctuary. And he lays the papers, the letters out on the altar. And he begins to pray. He begins to pray because this situation is an utterly dead situation. This is that situation where I can't see God if I wanted to. I can't understand how he could possibly work this one out. This one is too far gone. The only place that they have not destroyed is the very spot that I'm standing in. Everything else is gone. I don't have no big old army to fight them. I have nothing. How can I succeed in this? So then Hezekiah begins to pray to God. And that's over in 2 Kings 19, starting at 14. He received the letters at the hands of the messengers and read it. And Hezekiah went up to the house of the Lord and spread it before the Lord. And Hezekiah prayed before the Lord and said, O Lord God of Israel, which dwellest between the cherubims, thou art the God, even thou alone, of all the kingdoms of the earth. Thou hast made heaven and earth. Lord, bow down thine ear and hear. Open, Lord, thine eyes and see, and hear the words of Sennacherib, which hath sent him to reproach the living God. Of a truth, Lord, the kings of Assyria have destroyed the nations and their lands, and have cast their gods into fire, for they were no gods, but the work of men's hands, wood and stone. Therefore, they have destroyed them. Now, therefore, our Lord, our God, O Lord, our God, I beseech thee, save thou us out of his hand, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that thou art the Lord God, even thou alone. Yield yourself to what God has to say, because as he prayed that prayer, it sparked something. He was able, now God is able to move. He opened his mouth. Now God is able. I done tried to pay the folks off. That didn't work. I done tried to do everything I know to do to get this thing away from me. But now God is just waiting, just like Jesus in the bottom of the ship. He's just waiting for you to turn it over to him. And so he spreads the letters out, all these things. He spreads the letters out and he says, okay, God, be God. I need you to just work and show them who you are, that you are the one and only true living God. The rest of them weren't even gods. So as he spread the letters out on the altar and he began to pray over it, something shifted. Because guess who was tapped to come and give a word? Isaiah again. Thus saith the Lord, this is going to happen. So guess what? Guess what happens? He was standing on the word. He had the word from the get-go that God was going to utterly destroy them. But then he had to birth it out. Pray it out. Sometimes it'll feel like our God does not hear us. Sometimes it'll feel like he doesn't care about the things that are going on with us. Sometimes it'll feel like I have been in every position. I have been in every single prayer line. I have done everything I know to do. But God, do you hear me? Do you hear me? and he'll send that little glimmer of hope. I was reading and I saw that there was a man. It was talking about a man. It was a story about an earthquake, the 1988 earthquake in Armenia. At the time, it was the Soviet Union of Armenia, or Soviet Republic of Armenia. And so it says that the man had dropped his son off at school. He goes and he says, all right, see you later, bye, get out. And he says, Dad, you coming to pick me up? Because his dad was known for not coming to pick him up on time, which made him have to go and ride with somebody else or do something else. He was like, yeah, I'm coming back. You promise? He said, I promise. And so he goes and he puts his son out, and his son goes into the school. He goes on, he's at work. And as he's at work, there comes an earthquake that hit 6.9 on the Richter scale. 4 minutes later, another one comes, the aftershock, and it's 5.8. Everything from miles is tore down to rubble. Everything. The man goes, and he goes outside the factory. He's looking, and he's like, oh my God, everything is destroyed as far as the eye can see for miles. So he goes and he runs. Doesn't even bother to take no car. He runs down to where his son's school is, and he sees the school in rubble. Just rubble, a high mound of bricks is all he sees. Bricks and pieces of metal. So he runs, and everybody's like, oh my God, oh my child, my child. So he's looking, and he's like, you know what? His classroom should have been right over here. And he goes over there, and he starts to pull the rocks off one by one, just going and digging and cutting up himself and everything. And the people are like, oh, we need the help. So the people are helping, and they're pulling off rocks and rubble and pieces of metal. And then hours pass. They're still going. 12 hours pass. He's still going. The people have stopped. 24 hours have gone by, and it turns from a rescue mission into a recovery mission. There's nothing else we can do, but that father is still out there, and he's still pulling off rubble and rock. And they're like, man, you need to stop. It's over. They're gone. Let it go. He said, no. I made a promise to my son I'd come get him. I'm not leaving till I get him. So he's steady pulling off this rock. 2 days have passed by. He's steady pulling off the rock, and he's all bloody and bruised, and people are just like, please come down. Please come down. You don't even know what this looks like. You look like a crazy man. Come on, please come down. He says, no, I won't come until I get my son out of here. So he keeps doing. The third day comes, and he's pulling down, and he gets to a little space. It's all blacked out, and he yells down in there. He doesn't hear anything. He yells for his son again. He says, Armand. And he hears a little whimper. He hears a little whimper. He starts to dig even harder. He says, Armand, Armand. And he starts to call his name, thinking this has got to be my son. So he says, Father, is that you? He said, Armand. He said, yes, Dad, it's me. He says, I'm here to get you. He says, I done told everybody down here that don't worry, my father is coming. Don't y'all worry, my father is coming. I need to tell somebody today, no matter what your situation is, your father is coming. Everything may seem desolate and bleak, but your father is coming. He is not forgot about you. He is not denied your blessing. He is not denied the healing. He is not denied your child's trying to be healed. He has not forgotten about you. Just when you done given up on everything else, God does not give up on you. He needs you to reach up in heaven, pull down that blessing, and birth it out on earth. That's all he's waiting for you to do. So on this morning, y'all better stir up some stuff. There's some stuff that y'all been needing. There's some deliverance in this house. There's some healing in this house. Y'all better pull up towards heaven and pull it down and birth it out on this morning. Y'all better start praying, saints. Lord, I thank you, oh Heavenly Father. Lord, we give you glory on today, Father. We need you to